Kia ora, and welcome to Wednesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the International Edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news. US tariff threats are shifting from being aimed at trading partners to a focus on commodities, today especially copper. Protection of favoured US business interests is the goal, cloaked in the labels of national security. But first up today, the overnight dairy pulse auction delivered less change than expected, essentially holding on to the skim milk powder and whole milk powder prices at the prior week's full auction. But in the meantime, the New Zealand dollar has retreated, so both delivered good gains in New Zealand dollars, up 1.1% for skim milk powder and up 3.1% for whole milk powder. The US retail impulse, as measured by the Red Book survey, delivered a very good 5.9% gain over the same week a year ago, but it should be noted that the earlier base week was an unusually down one. And the New York Fed's National Survey of Consumer Inflation Expectations returned to a normal 3% level in June and a 5-month low. But some components remain a worry. Those surveyed think food prices will rise 5.5%, rents will rise 9.1%, and medical care by 9.3% over the next year. Meanwhile, the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index for June was little changed at a long-run level. And the popular US Treasury 3-year bond auction delivered unchanged demand and little change in the median yields achieved. Today that came in at 3.84%, whereas the equivalent event a month ago was 3.92%. And US consumer debt grew a very modest $5 billion in May, half the expansion of April and well below the average for the past year. The slowdown was very acute for revolving debt, like credit cards. In Canada, the widely watched local PMI turned positive in June following 2 toughish months. In Germany, both exports and imports were expected to decline in May from April, and they did, but by slightly more than was expected. But both remain higher than year-ago levels. In Australia, the widely watched NAB Business Sentiment Survey picked up, and it was a much better income than the contraction expected. In fact, this June result for business conditions broke the mould of the long-running decline that started in June 2022. That survey didn't point to anything special in terms of cost pressures, but those cost pressures clearly worried the RBA when it surprised financial markets yesterday with a no-change decision. The widely expected rate cut didn't happen, and so household budgets will have to wait for more relief. The RBA did pick up the resilience in the overall economy, but judged it was too early to respond to perceptions of economic weakness. In fact, they saw the balance of risk from trade and the labour market cost activity not requiring a boost from a cut in interest rates. And we should note that US tariff uncertainty is screwing around with some key commodity prices, especially copper, which has soared over the past day or so to over $12,000 a tonne, and easily a new record high. Some US futures contracts are now up to over $13,000 a tonne. US products that use copper are going to get a cost jolt. Because it was a jolt directly related to a new US tariff tax, it won't affect products made outside the US. And the US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.42% and up another 3 basis points from yesterday. But the price of gold will start today at $3,306 an ounce and down $25 from yesterday. American oil prices are up another $1 at just under $68.50 a barrel, while the international Brent price is now just on $70.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is now just on 60 US cents, little change from yesterday. Against the Aussie, we're down 50 basis points at 91.9 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're down 10 basis points at 51.2 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just on 67.6 and a net 10 basis points from lower from yesterday at this time. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $109,015 and up 1% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been moderate though, just on plus or minus 2.3%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.